Hi and welcome wherever you are. Anyway, let's get started. In this video, we're going to look at loops. So rather than go through the slides, which I think most of you are actually skipping, I'm just going to go straight into the code. So what I'll do is we'll create some code in a minute. So I'm going to start up a new class. I'll do let's go loopy. So here's the situation. There are three main loops that we're going to learn today. So the first one is going to be the for loop. In fact, let's zoom in on this. There you go. That's a little bit better. The first one's the for loop. The second one is the while loop. And the third one is the do while loop. Now the for loop, this is based on a specific number of steps. So to put it bluntly, you tell it how many times you want the loop to go around. So let's just say you want it to go around 100 times. You can set it to go around 100 times. So that's what the for loop is. The while loop is what we call a conditional loop. Okay, and with a conditional loop, what happens is whilst the condition is true, it's going to loop around. And each time that condition is true, it's going to continue to loop until the condition is false. When the condition is false, it stops the loop. Simple as that. There is a difference between the while and the do while. So the do while loop is very much like the while loop, but turned upside down. So what happens with the do while loop is we run the contents of the loop and we run it once. And then we check the condition. If the condition is true, we then run that again. And we'll continue to run it until the condition is false. So it's simple as that. So let's go through each one of these. So let's have a look at the first one. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to write a quick little program and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so in this example, what we've got is we've got the word hello. And the word hello is going to appear 10 times. Let's just run this a moment just to show you. Right, there you go. So it's come up 10 times. If I asked you to do it 20 times, you'd probably just copy and paste it. If I asked you to do it 100 times, then you'd copy and it would get a little bit laborious. Let's try to simplify this. So what we'll do is we'll take the whole lot and we'll comment them out like so. Now that we've commented out the previous work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a for loop. Now normally you would press for and have the brackets. With IntelliJ, what I would recommend doing is actually do for I. What for I will do when you press return, it will actually give you the syntax for a for loop. So what happens with the for loop? So first of all, what we do is we use this thing I. I is an integer and we set it to 0. Then we check I's condition. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the number 10 in here. Like so. So what this is doing is this is checking to see if I is less than 10. So whilst I is less than 10, whilst this is true, then do whatever's inside this part here. So let's put that in there. We'll then increment I by 1. So then it will go back here and check again. I will then equal 1. It's still less than 10, so it runs. Then it will increment by 1. I is now 2. 2 is still less than 10, and it will keep doing this until I equals 10. Once I equals 10, 10 is not less than 10, so it will step out of the loop and continue with the rest of the program. So let's just show you that working. And there you go. So you can see straight away that we've got the same results. Actually, let's make this a bit more interesting. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you I as well. So what we can do is we can concatenate I to this hello. So let's just do that. So I'm just going to put I in here and I want it to equal I plus 1. So what I need to do is wrap it in brackets and do I plus 1. Now I'll show you why I'm using the brackets in a moment. So when I run this, what will happen is hello will have a number next to it. And as you can see, hello starts at 1 and ends at 10. So we have actually got 10 units. If I wasn't to put the plus 1 in, let's just take the plus 1 out a moment and just run it. You'll see that hello will start at 0 and finish at 9. We'll still have the same number of units. So we'll still have 10 items listed. Why did I put the brackets around, you might be asking? Well, the reason is because we're using concatenation. Now, because we have a string here, it will simply treat both of these as a string, even though we know both of those are actually integers. So when we run that, we will then end up with hello 0, 1, hello 1, 1, hello 2, 1, because it's concatenating. It's basically just treating these as strings, even though we know they are integers. So what I'll do is I'll wrap them up in the brackets again, just to show you once more, and you should be able to see what happens. There you go, all done. So that is our for loop. So let's get rid of this a moment and let's talk about the next loop, which is the while loop. Okay, so one of the tasks that I normally set my students is to come up with a very basic login script. I'm not going to go through the whole login script with you right now, but what I will do is I'll show you one of the little challenges that you get where you have to key in a name. So let's just quickly knock out something that looks a little bit like that. So I'll do system out, enter your name. And what I'll do is, because it's got a colon at the end and a space, I'm going to make sure that it allows me to type on the same line. We're then going to use a scanner. So I'm going to do scanner reader equals new scanner system.in. Okay, so string username equals reader dot next line. So that looks fairly basic. All right. What if a user was just to press the return key? So if I just run this a moment, you'll see enter your name. Well, what I'll do is I'll just press return and you'll see it just steps right out. I don't want it doing that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say while, and I'm going to say username dot is empty. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to copy this information here, paste it into here. Now I don't need to redeclare those, so I can just do that and do that. And I actually don't even need that line at all. So there you go. Now if I run this and if I press return, it'll then ask me to enter the username again. Enter your name, enter your name, enter your name. Let's enter my name. Kurno Coder. Press return. Boom. It works. So what it's saying there is whilst the username is empty, so whilst there's no information in there, ask again and keep asking until there is some information in there. Works really well. And as you can see, this has created a duplication because I've got the information here and I've also got it here. So I've really got a copy of work here and here. If only there was a way of doing it so that I didn't have to have a duplication. And this is where the do while loop comes in. So what we'll do is we'll just comment this out and I'll show you how the do while loop works. So with the do while loop, just simply press do and you'll see that we've got a couple of brackets. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this information here, which is what we've used before, copy it, and paste it into here, just like so. And what I'm going to do also is just remove these comments. There you go. In fact, let's just do a nice little tidy up here. And I can tidy this up even more just by removing that and putting it back in. There you go, that's nice and tidy. So that actually has tidied up this bit. So what I can do here is type in, whoops, I won't type in while like that, while, and I will simply say username dot. Now you can see it doesn't recognize username. That's because username or the string username is used in here. So I'll tell you what we can do, we'll copy this and we'll paste it outside the loop. There you go. Now I just need to get rid of the word string in here because we don't need to declare it again. Now I can use username in here. Username dot is empty. And then just put a semicolon on the end. So as you can see, you've got pretty much the same as what we had before. Now if I run this, what is your name? Return. What is your name? Return. What is your name? Pop in a name. Kurno Coder. And there you go. All working. So that is your 3 loops. So we've got your for loop, your while loop, and your do while loop. I will do some more work with the loops as we progress with the lessons, but hopefully that's given you some insight into the 3 main loops that we use. And we can use those with other functions as well. And quite often we would use them with things like if statements and so forth. That's pretty much it for the loops. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, give me a thumbs up, as this will help encourage other people to look at my videos. And further to that, if you've only just visited and you want to see more of my content, why don't you subscribe? And that way then you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. Well, anyway, that's me done for today, so I'll speak to you again. Goodbye.